Hey there, YouTube. So Colby coming to you from PriusCats.com, StolenCats.com, and of course the business name is Muffler Tech. We're in Sacramento, California, and today's video is about Honda Accords, stolen catalytic converters, and why they're taking them, how they're taking them, and kind of the things to look out for and help kind of protect yourself. Also, if you're a victim of the theft, some advice and things to be aware of when you go to replace the part. So what a lot of people want to know is why Honda? Why are Hondas targeted in similar respect to why the Prius is as well? And I will show you visually exactly why. And you'll see here on the rear door in the quarter window, there's a sticker that says PZEV. And if you look really close, you can see it's partial zero emissions vehicle. We're gonna come over here to this one, and you'll see this Accord, same sticker. Roll over to this one, same sticker. And why does that matter? And why is that really bad news, relatively speaking, as far as needing to replace a cat on one of these cars? I will show you. Under the hood now of one of these cars I just showed you, and looking at the top of this engine. Now this only applies to 4-cylinder cars. The 3-liter 6-cylinders are not rated, what I'm showing you here, which is SULEV. Similar acronym and meaning to the PZEV. SULEV stands for super ultra low emissions vehicle. And unfortunately, Accords with this rating, again, similar to Priuses, do not have aftermarket cats that are legal in California. Now, if we get a little bit more specific around how that works, we're going to come up and look at this sticker here, okay? So this is the vehicle emissions control information label. It's underneath the hood on all Hondas, and if we look really close at this paragraph here, it talks about LEV2 and SULEV passenger cars, whether or not the vehicle conforms to California, yada yada yada. But the piece to besides SULEV that we're looking at here is this number right here, and that is your engine family number, and the last 3 digits are the defining bad news about these cars, and that I will show you in a moment is what makes it to where these vehicles require factory parts. Okay, so I have my web browser open here, and I've showed this to you guys on our other videos on other vehicle topics, but I want to make sure I include it in this one specific to the Honda stolen cat subject. And where we are now is the aftermarket catalytic converter database. This is put out by the California Air Resource Board, and this is essentially the Bible when it comes to replacing catalytic converters in California. Basically, once you put in your criteria, so we have Honda, in this case I chose 2007 Accord, choose the engine size 2.4, and then I click the search button. And clicking the search button populates a list of parts that are legal for California as far as aftermarket replacement goes. If you look at right here, it says part number, or excuse me, that's part manufacturer's, part numbers here. And we can run down here and you can see different part numbers that work on an 07 Honda Accord. Here's the real key. Some of these say withdrawn. That basically means at one point these parts were legal and now they are no longer. So very important to not select one of those parts. But what's really important about looking at this list, speaking to the PZEV or SULEV cars, is that number I showed you a moment ago, and that is the engine family number. Here they call it a test group number. It doesn't matter. Test group and engine family are the same. And you can see the sequence of letters and numbers here. This is what we're looking at when we go to replace an aftermarket cat in California. Very important that the cat that you choose, which let's just say this AP part here, we were trying to use the part number 760014. we can come over here, and of course this one's withdrawn, so it doesn't matter, that wouldn't work. But if it weren't withdrawn, this is the executive order number, and this executive order number has to be in match with the test group number. If it is not, then when you go to get an emissions test in California, it will not pass smog. So here's the deal. Look at this list. This entire list all has the same engine family or test group number. They all end in KKC. And if you remember from the video a few moments ago, the engine family number I showed you on that car does not match this. And if it doesn't match, it doesn't matter where you buy the part, doesn't matter where it came from, doesn't matter what manufacturer or person that's selling you the part says, if it doesn't match on this list, you will not pass an emissions test in California. So what does that mean? You've had your cat stolen on a Honda Accord and your vehicle is an SULEV or PZEV. That means you have to have factory parts. Factory parts are a bunch of money on these cars, okay? So we're starting in somewhere in the 2,000 plus minus arena in the replacement. Some of the 06 and newer cars, when they steal the part, they unbolt the part, as I'll show you here in a moment, from the engine, and then they cut it behind the cat, and they take the whole front assembly, which means you're buying a multitude of different parts to put it back in the car. Now, some shop solutions would be just to buy the factory cat and then weld pipes to it, and that's fine, except that you're dealing with a roughly $1,500 part that if you're welding to, potentially it could modify its warranty down the road, and you may not be able to get that part switched out by wherever you purchased it from Honda North America or a dealer or wherever that part came from. So really important to recognize that when these parts are replaced, a lot of the peripheral areas, the pipes and such that were cut in the theft, also need to be replaced if you're going to move forward with factory part replacement to make sure you still have a warranty intact down the road. Okay, so here we are walking underneath an 06 era Accord. Here you can see the mufflers here, exhaust pipe runs forward, resonator there, and this is where the cat would be, except that you can see what they've done here. That particular one was stolen with a pipe cutter, and like I've shown you in some of my other videos, you can see kind of the smoother edge. It's kind of a beveled edge on that pipe there, and you can also see how it has the marks that are left here from the blades on the pipe cutter. Sawzall is very different than this. And this is what's different than some of the other thefts we see on Accords is pipe cutter here, and then moving forward, should note this as well, this is where they cut the O2 sensor wire. So the O2 sensor used to come here and go to the side of the cat, what used to be here. And then the pipe coming into the cat had a hanger that inserted in this rubber isolating joint here. And then the pipe would run up, make a 90-degree angle up into this flange right here. So what they're doing is they're unbolting from here and cutting with a pipe cutter back here. Very similar to what we see in the Prius thefts. All right, so now we're walking underneath an 05. Same thing I was showing you earlier. This vehicle is a SULEV, so it's gonna require factory parts. This is what I wanted to show you. What's different about the other one is you'll see this pipe right here comes back into a triangular flange, and in this particular theft they just unbolted it from this flange and left this pipe moving forward. The other car that I showed you earlier in the video, they actually unbolted it up here, cut the wire to this air fuel ratio sensor, the upstream O2 sensor, and took this entire pipe. So some cars like this will require this pipe to be replaced along with that O2 sensor up front. This car, we can replace it from here back. Now, when this came in, it had the exhaust system was still in this cavity here. We've already removed it. It's sitting here. Now, you'll see on the end here, they cut the flange off. And that's why it's required to replace the entire exhaust system with this new unit here. Not necessarily because there's anything wrong with that one, but because this one has the flange on it. Now that's important because this flange allows us to bolt to the back of this catalytic converter, And this, of course, is the prized possession. This is the most expensive part of the exhaust system. Now, for all intents and purposes, as a fabrication or muffler shop, we could cut this flange off and weld it to that old pipe. No problem, no leaks, no issues, except that this very expensive part, as soon as we cut the flange off here, we're voiding the warranty on the part from Honda. So let me pan back here a little bit, and you can see what's involved in the replacement for this particular car. You've got the catalytic converter, which is here. You've got heat shields that go around the catalytic converter. You've got a downstream O2 sensor, and then you have this entire exhaust system all the way back here to the muffler to the end of the tailpipe. So there's a lot of parts involved in fixing this properly with factory pieces. All right, so this car is all put back together now, and what I want you to see is what we're doing to discourage and or kind of stop the theft as far as a deterrent goes. Let's start up here, and what you see here is we've welded a piece of roll bar tubing. This is the same tubing that would be used in like a NASCAR roll cage or any sort of racing type car roll cage, and you can see from the edge here how thick it is. All welded to the pipe all the way up to the top here, and what this does is stop the sawzall. Okay, it also stops the pipe cutter, which these are the two ways that we are seeing these pipes cut so that the thieves can get to the catalytic converter. Moving back here to the flex pipe area here, and then we add a piece of roll bar tubing so that they can't use the saw and cut in this area here. Same thing here, stops the saw in this region. This doubles as a protector here for the nut that's inside. Very difficult to get in there and take that out. You'd have to have a specialized swivel socket, and even then it's going to slow them way down. So coming around here, you can see we put some weld in between these two flanges. If they are successful in getting these unbolted here, they're going to have to deal with this weld. Now, some people would say from earlier in the video, why would you weld it? You talked about voiding the warranty. This is just a weld on the edge of the flange. If this cat needs to go in for warranty, we can just take a grinder and grind this off. So it's not impossible to remove, it just slows things way down. You'll see we have the same thing here, weld right here between the two flanges, and then here's our roll bar tubing to protect being cut here. Moving further back, we take a piece of roll bar tubing and run it all the way back to the resonator. So if they are going to cut it, they'd have to cut it on this side and then figure out how to get this entire piece out of the car. One last thing, and I forgot to show you up front here. If you look at how we place this roll bar tubing, as it travels up here, it blocks that bolt right there. Kind of hard to see in the dark there, but that bolt right there, which is the same as this one on this side, and you're not going to be able to get a regular socket and extension like this here with a ratchet in there. You'd have to use a wrench and slowly take it out. So our modifications don't make the car non-serviceable. It just makes it much harder for a thief to get in there and steal it again. So as always, thanks so much for watching. I hope this is helpful to anybody that's had a experience of theft on any of the Honda products, specifically the PZEV Accords. By all means, please contact Muffler Tech if you need any help with catalytic converter replacement due to theft or just a check engine light or a cat that's not working anymore. We help with insurance claims. We stock most parts, and we can help you. So please subscribe if you like this video. There'll be more on this topic, stolen catalytic converters, and hope to see you soon. Thanks so much.